Today we are diving into a stack of sources about an athlete who basically looked at that rule book for efficiency and just shredded it into confetti. We're talking about a Japanese racehorse named Mr. CB.
And that's the thing. When you look at the accounts of his career, he doesn't feel like just a racehorse.
No, he feels more like a performance artist.
That's the perfect way to put it. I mean, you have your champions, the machines who do everything right. And then you have Mr. CB. He was the third horse in history to win the Japanese Triple Crown, which is a massive, massive feat.
Huge.
But the biography, the race records, they all make one thing really clear. This horse didn't just want to beat you. He wanted to give you a heart attack while he did it.
He really did. This is the story of the artist who rewrote the script. We're going to explore how he turned a 2-minute race into a psychological thriller.
And the central tension is just.
Yeah.
It's Mr. CB versus conventional wisdom.
Yeah. Every handbook said do not do what this horse is doing, and he just did it anyway.
Which makes him a fantastic case study in risk versus reward. Most champions play it safe, right? Stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
Mr. CB seemed to maximize the drama. He'd put himself in a hopeless position just to stage a comeback.
Inefficient. Terrifying for his owners, I'm sure.
But just so compelling to watch.
So let's go back to the beginning. Where does a rule breaker like this even come from?
Well, you'd think he'd be some scrappy underdog, but it's actually the opposite. He was born into absolute royalty.
Okay.
He was foaled in 1980 at Chigira Farm. That's the CB, his name. But his bloodline, it's pure speed. His father was Tosho Boy.
And for those of us who aren't deep into 70s Japanese racing, Tosho Boy was a pretty big deal, right?
A huge deal. They called him the Pegasus, just this icon of sustained speed and grace. And CB's mother, CB Queen, was a graded stakes winner herself.
So genetically, the engine was definitely there.
It was. But there's this detail in the source material about his birth that I think it explains a lot about the aura around him.
Yeah, I flagged this too, the only child part. It's a little heartbreaking.
It is quite sad. The sources say that after CB was born, his mother had a stillbirth. And then she couldn't produce any more foals. So Mr. CD was it. No brothers, no sisters.
Wow, he was the sole continuation of that specific line.
Exactly. One of a kind from the moment he was born.
That adds this whole weird layer of pressure, doesn't it? If he fails, that legacy just evaporates.
It does. And that theme of being a one-man show carried over to the humans around him, too. His jockey, Masato Yoshinaga.
Right. This is another detail I love.
He was the only jockey to ever ride him. From his very first race to his retirement ceremony, one man, one horse.
That's incredible. It feels so old school, like a knight and his steed.
The sources say their bond was inseparable. And honestly, with the way CB ran, you couldn't have just thrown a substitute rider on him. You needed that telepathic trust.
So let's get into that famous style, because he didn't start out as a renegade, did he?
Not at all. Completely normal. He debuted as a 2-year-old, ran a textbook race up near the front, clear sailing, won comfortably.
So if you watch that, you just think, okay, talented, sensible horse.
Exactly, a good front runner. But then came his third start.
Oh, aha moment.
And it wasn't a plan, it was a disaster. The source says he had a terrible break. The gates opened and he just stumbled or something. The field took off and he was left standing there.
Which for a young horse is usually a death sentence. The race is over.
It's over. Panic sets in. But instead of panicking, CB did something weird. He settled, he waited, and then he unleashed what the biography calls a breathtaking late charge.
He didn't win, though.
No. He ran out of track, finished second. But the way he devoured ground in that last stretch was startling. And his jockey, Yoshinaga, he had a realization.
That he was riding him all wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He realized this horse isn't a front runner. This horse wants to hunt. He was born to come from behind.
Okay, can we pause here for a second? For anyone listening who isn't a racing expert, coming from behind sounds dramatic, like in a movie. But in reality, why is that considered such a bad strategy?
It all comes down to physics and probability. Think of it like rush hour traffic on a highway.
Yeah.
If you're at the front, you've got an open road, you control your speed. If you're at the back, you have to navigate all that traffic, you have to weave.
There could be 20 other horses in front of you.
Exactly. And they aren't staying in their lanes. So you can get boxed in, you can get stopped dead. You are completely relying on luck for a gap to open at the exact second you need it.
So it doesn't matter how fast you are if you have nowhere to run.
It doesn't matter at all. It's a high wire act with no net.
Yeah.
And Mr. CB decided to walk that wire every single time. He made chaos his home.
Which brings us to his 3-year-old season, the Triple Crown year. He's fully embraced this closer style now.
Everyone knows the plan. But now we get to the majors. First up, the Satsuki show.
And here's the first clash with conventional wisdom.
The conditions. They were atrocious. Rain, mud, heavy turf. A total bog.
And why does mud hurt a horse like CB more than a front runner?
Traction. To come from behind, you need explosive acceleration, a sudden burst. In mud, you can't get that grip. You just spin your wheels. The horses up front, they just have to maintain speed.
Right. So the smart money says the closer is basically dead in the water.
He is. Plus, you're getting a face full of mud kicked at you by 20 other horses. But CB he ignored the physics, he stayed back, and then somehow found traction where there was none. He just powered through the sludge and won.
Unbelievable. So, 1 down, 2 to go. Next is the big one, the Tokyo Yushin, the Japanese Derby. And this time, he's not fighting the weather, he's fighting a superstition.
A very statistically backed superstition, too. The belief was, to win the Derby, you must be in the top 10 at the first corner.
Because the field is just too crowded to get through otherwise.
It's too dense. You'll never find a path.
And where was Mr. CB?
Nowhere near the top 10. He started near the back of a massive 21-horse field. He basically told the history books to get lost.
And this wasn't a clean run, was it? The reports say it got physical.
Oh, not at all. This is where the risk almost blew up in his face. He had to weave, and in the final turn, he made contact with another horse. It was rough enough that his jockey, Yoshinaga, actually got a suspension for it afterwards.
Wow. So he literally had to muscle his way through.
He had to create his own lane because there wasn't one. The wind stood, but it shows his style wasn't just elegant, it was gritty.
So he's got 2 jewels. He defied the mud. He defied the stats. Now comes the final test, the Kikusho. And this is my favorite part of the story.
It's the most dramatic. Because leading up to this, the doubts were creeping back in.
Yeah, he ran a bad prep race, right? Finished 4th.
Looked flat. People were whispering, maybe he's tired, maybe the season was too hard.
And this race is at Kyoto Racecourse, which has this very specific feature, the hill.
Right, a big hill on the backstretch. And for decades, the golden rule, the Kyoto logic was, climb the hill slowly, descend slowly.
Why? To save energy.
Exactly. You sprint up, you burn your legs out, you sprint down, you lose your balance, so everyone slows down. It's like a ceasefire in the middle of the race.
A ceasefire for everyone except one horse.
This is what the source calls the artist's move. While everyone else is slowing down on the incline, Mr. CB takes off. He sweeps past them on the uphill.
Which should be suicide. He's burning his gas tank while everyone else is refueling.
It should be. And then he just keeps going. He accelerates down the slope. He broke every rule of energy conservation for that track.
The crowd must have been going absolutely insane.
They had to be. They're seeing him move way, way too early. But he sustained it. The source calls it an otherworldly burst. He didn't just hang on. He pulled away and won by 3 lengths.
Wow.
He became the 3rd Triple Crown winner in Japanese history. The first in 19 years.
And crucially, the first one sired by a domestic stallion.
Correct. That was a huge point of national pride. He proved a Japanese-bred horse could be the best. But that move on the hill, that's the performance art. He won by breaking the race open in the hardest possible way.
It was the absolute peak, the summit. But
Yep.
like in so many of these stories, the peak is very brief.
It is. This is where the story takes a tragic turn. Almost immediately after that win, he developed hoof issues that just got worse and worse. He was sidelined for almost a full year.
That's a lifetime in horse racing. When he finally came back as a 4-year-old, was he the same horse?
Not quite. He returned, finished 2nd to a horse named Katsuragi Ace. You saw flashes of the old brilliance, but the invincibility was gone.
But the source says he had one more big moment, a redemption arc.
He did. The Tenno show in the autumn. For one afternoon, the old Mr. CB was back. That thunderous surge from the back of the pack, It was there. He claimed his 4th crown. A reminder that the king wasn't dead.
But while he was gone, the world moved on. A new prince had arrived, and this sets up the Clash of Kings.
The Japan Cup. The anticipation was off the charts. You had Mr. CB, the charismatic rebel, facing off against the new Triple Crown winner, Simbali Rudolph.
He was basically the anti-CB, right?
Completely. Rudolph was the emperor. Perfect, calculated, efficient. He was the machine we talked about at the start.
So it was chaos versus order, the artist versus the engineer?
The perfect narrative. But reality doesn't always follow the script.
No, it doesn't. The race was anticlimactic.
Very. CB stayed at the back, waiting for the surge. But it never came. The magic button didn't work. He finished 10th. Rudolph was 3rd. The winner was actually Katsuragi Ace.
Oof. That's a tough pill for the fans to swallow. The torch wasn't passed. It was just dropped.
It was the beginning of the Twilight. He raced a few more times, finished third behind Rudolph again, and then a bone fracture forced his retirement.
A quiet end to a very loud career.
It is. He retired as stud, lived until the year 2000. But there's this one touching detail about his final years that I really like.
Where he went.
Yeah. He returned to his birthplace, Chigira Farm. And he spent his final days in a paddock right beside his dam, CB Queen.
The only child returning to his mother. That brings it all full circle.
It really does. It gives his life a sense of completion.
So let's talk legacy, because this is where it gets interesting. You mentioned Symboli Rudolph. If you just look at the stats, Rudolph had the longer career. He beat CB head-to-head. A modern analyst might say he was the better horse.
And objectively, statistically, they're probably right. CB's peak was brief. The injuries take their toll. If you're building a Hall of Fame on data points, he might rank lower than other Triple Crown winners.
Numbers miss the point, don't they? You can't put goosebumps on a spreadsheet.
Exactly. You can't quantify excitement. Mr. CB changed how races were watched in Japan.
What do you mean by that?
Before him, you watched the leaders to see who would win. Mr. CB taught an entire generation of fans to wait, to hold their breath, to look at the back of the pack and genuinely believe that no position was hopeless.
He turned a sporting event into a thriller.
He did. Despair, then tension, then release. The sources argue he laid the foundation for a massive racing boom in Japan because he brought people to the track who didn't care about betting odds. They wanted to see the artist.
That's the key. You forget a dominant horse who just wins from the front, but you never forget the horse that spots the field 10 lengths, defies physics, and runs them all down.
It connects to that human desire to see the impossible happen. He made the impossible look like his standard move.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more.